Have you ever prided yourself on being a deep thinker? A person of logic and critical reasoning? That's good, but here's a challenging truth. Your brain, however sharp, is fundamentally lazy. It constantly seeks mental shortcuts, little tricks known as cognitive biases, to save energy. These biases aren't signs of low intelligence. They are universal, and ironically, they pose the greatest threat to smart, self-assured minds. When you trust your logic too much, you become blind to the subtle ways your brain is steering you toward irrational decisions. Today, we're exposing 8 hidden cognitive biases that silently sabotage your critical thinking, preventing you from seeing the world as it truly is. Spotting them is the first step to reclaiming your mental independence. Section 1. The biases of confidence and illusion. 1. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Let's start with the big one. The Dunning-Kruger effect. It states that people with low competence in a specific area tend to overestimate their ability greatly. They don't know enough to realize how much they don't know. Conversely, highly competent people tend to underestimate their ability, assuming others find the task just as easy. Think of a beginner cook convinced their first burnt meal is gourmet, while a Michelin-starred chef worries their dish isn't good enough. The danger? It leads the unskilled to confidently make terrible decisions, and the skilled to hold back. 2. Confirmation bias. This is the most insidious bias in the modern age. Confirmation bias is our tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses. We don't seek the truth, we seek validation. If you believe a specific stock is undervalued, you'll spend hours reading articles supporting that view, completely ignoring every report warning of risks. This creates an echo chamber inside your own head. 3. Sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is the tendency to continue a behavior or endeavor because of previously invested resources, time, money, effort. Even if continuing is clearly the irrational choice, you've already lost the resource. Continuing only makes the problem worse. Staying in a terrible relationship for years because I've already invested so much time, or pouring more money into a car that costs more to fix than to replace. You're focusing on the past investment, not the future payoff. 4. Anchoring bias. Anchoring bias occurs when we rely too heavily on the very first piece of information offered, the anchor, when making decisions, especially in negotiations or estimates. Subsequent information is then interpreted relative to that anchor. A salesperson shows you a jacket priced at $500, then offers you an identical one for $150. The $150 seems like an incredible deal, even if its actual value is $50, because your mind is anchored to the initial $500. If you're finding this deep dive into your brain's blind spots helpful and you want more tools to sharpen your critical thinking, hit that subscribe button. We explore the psychology of success every week. Now, let's get back to the final 4 biases. Section 2. The biases of perception and memory. Negativity bias. The negativity bias is the psychological phenomenon where humans give more psychological weight to negative experiences, thoughts, or news than to positive ones. Our brains evolved this way to protect us, forcing us to pay closer attention to threats. You get 5 positive performance reviews and 1 critical comment. Which one will you replay in your mind all night? The negative one. This bias distorts your perception of your overall life and success.
self-serving bias. The self-serving bias is a protective mechanism where we attribute positive events to our own character and internal factors, e.g., I succeeded because I'm smart and hardworking, but attribute negative events to external factors beyond our control, e.g., I failed because the test was unfair or the market was bad. Your team wins the project, you take the credit. Your team loses, you blame the client's impossible deadlines. This bias protects your ego but hinders true learning.
Section 3. The biases of association and time. 1. Frequency illusion, or Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Have you ever learned a new word, a new car model, or a new concept, and suddenly you start seeing it everywhere? That's the frequency illusion. It's not that the word or object suddenly became more common, it's that your brain has now been primed to notice it. You just bought a bright yellow car. Now, you swear every third car on the road is bright yellow. This bias tricks you into believing something is more common or important than it actually is. Present bias, or hyperbolic discounting. The final one is the enemy of long-term planning, present bias. This is the tendency to choose a smaller, immediate reward over a larger, later reward. We value immediate gratification disproportionately more than future benefits. You know saving $20 a day will lead to a comfortable retirement, but that $20 can buy an immediate, satisfying meal right now. The present reward wins. It fuels procrastination, debt, and poor health habits. Conclusion: the way forward. These 8 biases are not flaws. They are simply byproducts of an efficient brain. But efficiency doesn't always equal accuracy. The solution is not to eliminate them. That's impossible. The solution is mindful awareness. When faced with a major decision, practice self-questioning. Actively seek information that contradicts your initial belief, fighting confirmation bias. Reframe the problem. Ask yourself, if a stranger invested $0, would I advise them to start this project now? Fighting sunk cost. Prioritize the future self. Imagine the regret of your future self to give weight to long-term rewards, fighting present bias. Understanding these biases is the true sign of intellectual depth. It's the wisdom to know that your own brain can be your greatest saboteur. Tell me in the comments below, which of these 8 biases do you catch yourself making the most often? I read every comment. Thanks for watching.